Suspended City of Ekurhuleni head of legal services, Advocate Kemi Bihari, who appeared at the Madlanga Commission earlier this year, has been arrested according to ENCA. He was reportedly taken into custody after his disciplinary hearing this afternoon. Authorities acted following the conclusion of the internal process involving the suspended official. The arrest comes amid allegations that he failed to execute a council resolution to discipline suspended EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkwanatsi. This centers on claims regarding the handling of disciplinary steps within the municipality. When the journalist asked the SAPS to confirm the news, this is what the national spokesperson, Brigadier Adv Behari, said.
The Commission's recommendations task team is currently conducting a takedown operation. With the operation currently underway, the SAPS will not comment on any aspect of the operation or any matters arising from it. No further information will be provided until the operation has been concluded.
And bear in mind that time it was when the police were busy with the arrest. This is what Puel Jones said when he broke the news.
We understand that police are on the heels of two more individuals. Kemi Bihari has been, of course, arrested, taken to his home address. I think they were looking for particulars as well. This hasn't been confirmed, but we're being told that law enforcement was also at the property of the suspended HR head, Linda Kashega, as well. We're still working on sources as we're trying to get into this developing story. There's also another individual who appeared before the Madlanga Commission who police are looking for as well, a former individual who was in the city of Ekurhuleni. But what I can tell you right now is that from what we understand, Bihari was in a disciplinary hearing today. So he's fighting tooth and nail to try and get his job back. And while that was ongoing, police, of course, did arrive at the headquarters of Ekurhuleni, and there afterwards he was nabbed. And we did see a video circulating of some of these members of the PKTT making their way into the offices. I think we'll play that video once it's ready, once it's being turned by the team. But what I can tell you is that he has been taken. We don't know yet what the charge is, but what I can tell you is that when he was at the Madlanga Commission, he faced intense cross-examination regarding the documentation from IPID, which recommended that the suspended Deputy EMPD Commissioner Julius Mkwanatsi be arrested. The allegation is that the likes of Bihari and Kashega shielded Mkwanatsi from being arrested.
Am I correct that sometime in 2024, around March, your role changed from being head of legal to now being head of risk and legal?
Yes, Chair.
Yes, I'm not asking.
I'll say yes, but there's not. There's still some issues being addressed in that matter.
And your responsibility became to advise Ekurhuleni not just on legal matters but also on risk. So things like legal risk and reputational risk, that was now your responsibility.
Yes.
Yes. Now, from September, let's say November, because you said the IPID report was only sent to Ekurhuleni around October, November, but it was signed in September. From November 2023 until December 2025, when suspended, did Ekurhuleni take any action against Julius Mkwanatsi?
Not that I'm aware. I think there was action taken.
He was suspended in December after testimony in this commission.
Yes, he was suspended in December 2025, but he was suspended as a result of the action being taken by the city arising out of questions posed by the Premier.
Yes.
So that is the process that unfolded through the Chief Audit Executive Office. They went through the report to Council, and that is the process. I was not part of that.
Let me put the question another way. From November 2023 until you were suspended in December 2025, did you ever advise the city of Ekurhuleni to take disciplinary action against Julius Mkwanatsi?
No, I did not, because Chair, in terms of the risk function, and the risk function speaks overall. It speaks about overall the organization-wide risk. Those matters were being addressed at different departments at different junctures. So overall risk from that part, from when I was dealing with that from 2024, I would look at the risk matrix. What are the risk reports that have to be done? Where are the different issues of risk? So, in terms of then, there was processes, one that stalled, processes with the...
Mr. Behari, please don't take me to processes. My question was, did you? And your answer is no, you did not.
No, I did not, Chair.
Yes,
as I said, it was not an aspect focusing only on the one issue. The risk function focuses on a whole lot of issues.
That is
and there are templates for that. Thank you, Chair.
That is fine. Yes. I've just handed you a document, and it is a transcript, yes, of the evidence of Dr. Mashazi on the 1st of December 2025.
Yes, sir.
I had engaged her on the promotion of Julius Mkhwanazi. You will recall that until December 2023, he was a brigadier.
Yes.
And he was responsible for corporate services, one of the divisions. And then from December, he was promoted to Deputy Chief of Police. Remember that?
Yes.
Yes. And the engagement between myself and Dr. Mashazi was, how can Ekurhuleni, in the face of the investigation by Erasmus and the investigation by IPID, reward Julius Mkhwanazi with a promotion? And she told this commission that Mkhwanazi had been cleared and there was no investigation against him and there was no finding of wrongdoing against him, and for that reason, there was no reason why Ekurhuleni should not have promoted him. So if you go to page 105 of 268, you'll see it's numbered at the bottom of the page.
That's correct, Chair.
Are you there?
Yes.
From paragraph 10 of that page where it says audio clip played back. Do you see that?
I see that, Chair.
Just take a moment to read that entire section.
Aloud or...
It's fine, you can read it loud.
The IPID report for us was very big, and I was unable to discipline anyone. We had to take that IPID report to our investigation. We appointed an independent investigator through the internal audit, and the report was out. We will share the report with you so that you can start disciplining people. I'm not sure. So from that report, the acting chief of police has done nothing wrong. He is cleared. So IPID, they say, can go ahead if they want to arrest him, but if they think he is wrong, because they are police officers, but from our side, in terms of the DC and investigation, there is nothing wrong that the acting chief of police has done. He has been cleared by our report, and for that, as long as there is nothing that they are doing from their side, if they believe that he is wrong, then there is nothing I can do as an accounting officer. He reports to me, even as the chief of police, who is on the suspension, he reports to me. If there is any wrongdoing on it from his side, I must do my own investigation. And I must also subject that person to a DC. I cannot subject my officers to a DC based on a report that I myself do not understand, because I had to take it to legal, and legal analyze the report and refer the report to internal audit.
Yes. So you see, she uses the word cleared twice in that clip, and she says Mkhwanazi was cleared. Do you agree that Mkhwanazi was cleared?
Mkhwanazi was not cleared by us
Who cleared him?
If I'm looking at this, I'm not sure when or the date of that clip, Chair, but she talks to a report of internal audit. The only report of internal audit that I am aware of was done as a result of the BXBX emails, where they was to investigate something else. So in no way do I believe that that report specifically cleared Julius Mkhwanazi or anybody else. What it did say was the process, there seemed to be, they couldn't find who drafted the documents. They did suggest that Julius must send, Mkhwanazi must send through a complaint to the information regulator, and they also commented on the fruitless and wasteful expenditure and not following of the process. But
so she was incorrect when she said there's a report that cleared Julius Mkhwanazi.
She would have been incorrect, because there were findings, and that is very clear. The audit report doesn't say we clear in that specific terms Julius Mkhwanazi.
And on 106 towards the bottom, just before the sentence that starts with "thank you." Now she's referring to the IPID report, and she says, I cannot subject my officers to a DC based on a report that I myself do not understand because I had to take it to legal, and legal analyze the report. That was you.
Is she talking to the report of IPID, or she's talking to the forensic report?
No, she's talking to the IPID report. Yeah. She's already said the forensic report cleared him. So she's referring to the IPID report.
So I never cleared, no one cleared at the end the documents that we've been dealing with in terms of the letter to IPID, but no one gave any instructions.
Ms. Behari, why do you not answer the question? I say that is you. When she says, I took the report, legal, and legal analyzed the report, and I've already told you she's referring to an IPID report. Now I'm saying legal is you.
It's correct.
Yes. And she said she couldn't understand this report. That's why she could not act on it. But you, in fact, in your response to this report, said it is vague, it does not support the charges against Mkhwanazi, and you criticized IPID. That's all you did.
Yes, Chair. It was part of the discussion in the letter we had framed or prepared. So all of the issues that we raised there was discussed with her, and that is hence the vagueness came in for us to clarify certain aspects with IPID. But it was not about clearing Mkhwanazi in any respect. There is no way we told him he's cleared. We're dealing with the IPID report, and as per the letter and the evidence now, that is what we discussed with her.
But then, as part of your duties at head of risk and legal, why did you not say to the city manager, we have an obligation to charge Mkhwanazi because that's the directive of IPID?
But the process of charging was already processed in terms of the directive of IPID. The letter that we looked at was to deal with exactly what are the fraud and corruption aspects.
No, I don't understand you. I'm asking you a simple question. Why did you not advise the city manager that IPID has directed that Mkhwanazi should be charged? But therefore, you have an obligation to charge him.
Sure, but it was a process already underway. It's accepted as that because of the IPID report.
Maybe before you answer, Mr. Behari, in that same document, if you would look at page 93, in that same document, look at page 93, and
yes,
then
sure.
from line 7, she says, I refer the document to HOD Legal, who later informed me that the document is incomplete, and he has advised chief or whatever that they cannot take action on this document. Rather, let them do the internal investigation. So take that into account in your answer.
Is this related now to, I don't know if she's confusing the issue of the internal report, because on respect to the IPID report.
The discussion with Commissioner Khumalo is about the IPID report.
The IPID report.
Yes.
Yes. So what she says here is, you said on line 7.
Mr. Behari, you can see she's referring to the IPID report because in line 3, that's what it says. Even when you look at the IPID report, I do not know, I have it somewhere, where they write to him to implement or to discipline Julius. So from my point, I did something as an accounting officer by referring it because it is a legal document. I referred the document to HOD Legal, that is you, who later informed me that the document is incomplete and he has advised chief or whatever that they cannot take action on this document. I mean, that is clear advice to the manager. The city can take action on this document, rather let them do the internal investigation.
Chair, I do not give such an advice to city manager because I never engaged with chief of police on this. The sense of I asked is it the previous one or not. That's the only other one I engaged with chief report was the internal affairs. I didn't engage with chief of police on this matter. So
no,
hence I'm saying
we're talking about the city manager. Mr. Behari, please stop doing that. We're talking about the city manager. She says you informed her that the document is incomplete and you advised chief or somebody, she doesn't know, that the city cannot take action on this document, which is the IPID report. Rather, they should do an internal investigation.
Chair, as I'm saying, Chair, that is not my advice to the city manager. The engagement with the city manager was that we are addressing certain vague issues in the report as per the letters that we went out. There was, and when she said he has advised chief or whatever, I didn't advise anybody for another internal investigation. I just spoke to the city manager about what were the concerns raised as per our engagements internally. And those are the only issues. I never gave city manager any advice to the extent that we said there must be another internal investigation.
So she was not truthful in her evidence?
If that is the case, she would have been mistaken or not truthful, but
Okay.
not according to what I gave her.
Okay. And then, did you an internal investigation be done?
I did not, Chair, because there was already an IPID investigation. I did not for another internal investigation now, because the IPID investigation was already done.
Did you tell the city manager what is contained in page, remember that document which is a draft report to IPID? Is that what you said to her about the IPID report?
Page 21 of our letter.
I think it's 324. We don't have to go there. You know the document I'm talking about. The draft report to IPID or the draft response to IPID.
Yes.
What is contained in that document? Your attitude to the IPID report.
I discussed the content of that letter. So
Is that what you told the city
It would
manager?
have included the entire document.
That the charges are not sustainable?
We believe the charges are not sustainable. Yes, correct.
So then how can you expect a city manager to proceed to charge Julius Mkhwanazi if you yourself told her that the charges are not sustainable?
Because of the process, we're still embarking to clarify it, but I did tell her that, yes. Chair.
Yeah, but if the charges are not sustainable, you cannot charge Julius Mkhwanazi.
But I explained to her what the process is. So at that stage, it is not sustainable, but we are engaging with the IPID to get clarity on aspects.
But you never engaged with IPID. You said so yourself that the letter never went out and you never followed up to ensure that it goes out.
Yes.
So in fact, you blocked the process because you didn't engage with IPID. You told city manager that you are engaging with IPID. That's how the process will go forward. And then you never engaged with IPID, which means you stopped any chance of Mkhwanazi being disciplined.
Chair, I never engaged with IPID because we were in the process of doing the letters to IPID to clarify what are we going to address. So I never engaged with IPID. I never blocked any process.
Advocate Behari, we are now looking backwards. We're not looking forward. We are 2 years later. We're looking back. You did not engage with IPID, which means it is you. You said to the city manager, the process will be, I will engage with IPID. But you did not do that. So the process stopped because you did not do what you told the city manager you were going to do.
Chair, what I said to the city manager was, in terms of the content of our letter, which was speaking on fraud and corruption, it was not talking about stopping the disciplinary process, which was addressed to Chief Mapiye. The issues that I raised with city manager on the fraud of corruption was we were in the process of dealing with the issues, and I said to her, this is what the content of our letter is.
I repeat myself, how can they charge Mkhwanazi when you have said to them the charges are not sustainable?
Chair, the issues we raised in terms of that, if they want to charge them in terms of what IPID says, it was a directive from IPID to that. Of course, later on we said it's a recommendation and we had our discussion on that. But I said to the city manager that we are engaging to clarify these issues. This is why it is vague at this stage. It's not about stopping any issues of proceeding to charge Mkhwanazi.
Thank you. I'm going to leave it there.
If you, head of legal, say to the city manager, there is no merit, these allegations, because the charge, the formulation of the charge is based on facts. There are certain facts. In your long letter, you have given a response. You say to IPID, this letter that never goes out, you say to IPID, Mkhwanazi did nothing wrong. That's really what you've done. You say Mzolo gave him tasks to do, right? And then Mkhwanazi is telling you that when he when he put forward the MOU and he put the donation letter forward, it was all on, accepted the donation, it was all in execution of his tasks. That's one. Yeah. Two, you say he didn't register vehicles. Stain registered to those vehicles. So Mkhwanazi has nothing to do with that. It's always been the practice to receive donations. Stain explains that. So Mkhwanazi did nothing wrong. So Mkhwanazi sent the MOU to the chief of police, and the chief of police, the fault of the chief of police that it was not completed and signed. So in that long letter, you basically say Mkhwanazi did nothing wrong. You answer to the facts. He did nothing wrong. Now, how do you, and that's what you tell the city manager. That response is given to the city manager. That's what you tell her. How could she, and Chief Mapiaye, when he becomes aware of this, but forget him for the purpose of what I'm putting to you, how could the city manager then take disciplinary steps against Mkhwanazi if you, head of legal, have given responses why what IPD is saying is unsustainable? Because remember, IPD is saying he's guilty, he's committed to this conduct. You say he didn't. Look at the authorization that he had when he was acting. Look at Steyn, what Steyn says. Look at the practice. Look at what the chief of police failed to do. That's that's an answer from you. On what basis would the city manager then proceed to charge him?
Chair, the issue of which I've raised in the letter was not about IPD or to finding that Julius Mkhwanazi did not do anything. It was about consideration of, in the IPD report, consideration of the affidavit of Julius Mkhwanazi, where he said he was given this authority. If you had gone there and then done an extended investigation and found that there was no such authority, it was concretized our case. So it's not about saying that we're finding that Julius Mkhwanazi did not do anything. He raised in his affidavit to say, I was given these positions, I was dealing with these MOUs, I was dealing with these issues. And the issue to IPD was then, but have you considered the substance of what Mkhwanazi was doing?
You don't just say, have you considered? You actually say he did nothing wrong. And I'll read you a paragraph randomly. In that letter, at paragraph 6, you say, at the time of the vehicle registration, the benefit of in brackets, you say getting more vehicles would have accrued to the city had the deal been approved. The cost incurred in the registration was a step forward, was a step towards obtaining the benefit on behalf of the city. It will be challenging to argue that the registration costs constitute prejudice to the city. The registration costs should not be viewed in isolation, but as part of the entire process of acquiring the benefit on behalf of the city. So your theme throughout is, no, but this was to the benefit of the city. You say that, no. And it doesn't matter whether it's criminal or disciplinary process. You, head of legal, are saying this whole transaction was for the benefit of the city. He did nothing wrong.
Chair.
And you tell that to the city manager. How can the city manager charge him for that? For registering these vehicles, for incurring the cost of registering these vehicles?
Chair, as if the donation had completed legally, the intention was very clear to have benefited the city. That is what we were speaking to. It wasn't about him.
It wasn't to benefit the city. The vehicles were never going to be transferred to the city. We've looked at the MOU. Don't reprise what that MOU says. We've looked at it. We've looked at all those documents. We've had Brigadier Mkhwanazi here. Those vehicles were never intended to come to the city. They remained with Mr. Matlala's company because that was the intention. They were never intended. So they were going to be driven, and it happened that way. They continued to be used by Mr. Matlala's people, not your city. So there's no benefit that came out of it to the city. The MOU contains nothing that says these will come to the city. You say there's nothing wrong with all of that. And you say that to the city manager. So what I'm putting to you is, when the city manager says, I was advised by head of legal that there's no merit or the complaints are unsustainable, and so I could not discipline, forget her motives, and I couldn't discipline, there's nothing wrong in her saying that, because her head of legal has expressed the views that he has expressed in this letter.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have expressed that view, Chair, and I said to, and the document details why. Now, in respect of, you say it was never intended to, at the stage when we considered the report, there was no linkage to say that it was never intended for. The only issue we picked up is initiation was. It was a donation to the city. A donation then will speak to a document or vehicles or whatever the donation item would be, being transferred to and being used by the city. So if there was an intention never to transfer the vehicles or never to bring it back to allow to be used by elsewhere, I don't see that anywhere in that chair. Specifically mentioned. But if it is a donation, understanding that part from a donation, that would have covered that the city would be the ones benefiting.
You see, we're having this discussion with you. We've had the benefit of the evidence of Brigadier Mkhwanazi even, and the documents that are involved in this. And from that evidence, from that evidence, we know that it was never the intention to deliver the vehicles to the city. We know that. They were always going to remain with Mr. Madlanga.
Okay.
That is the evidence,
yes, so,
right? You say that was to the benefit of the city, because that's what you're saying. In fact, you say, on the contrary, again, I pick another random paragraph. You say it is difficult to see how KET benefited from the registration of the vehicles as they transferred ownership of their vehicles to the city. Well, he benefited because he was driving around in unmarked vehicles that when they are checked on the system, they are known to be EMPD vehicles. So they opened doors for him to go wherever he wanted under the name of the EMPD. And then you say, on the contrary, KET sustained a loss of assets while the vehicles were registered in the name of the city. There's no basis for you to say that. He always had control of these vehicles. The city is the one that stood to benefit, particularly considering that EMPD had a shortage of vehicles and there seemed to be no effort from the chief of police and senior management to address this. The purpose of the vehicle registration was to increase the number of vehicles to be used by the EMPD. There's no facts for you to say that. There was no facts whatsoever, not from the documents, not from anything that Brigadier Mkhwanazi said, because in that warning statement that you pulled out, the warning statement, it does say that they returned, they were never delivered to the city, right? So I don't know what facts you were relying on when you say they would have increased the vehicles to be used by the EMPD, because they never came to the EMPD.
In that,
but don't lose sight of what this part of the discussion is.
Yeah.
This part of the discussion that Commissioner Khumalo started with you is that you advised the city manager, you spoke to the city manager. She saw this long letter, but you also had a discussion with her. So when she says, my head of legal says that the complaints or the allegations against Brigadier Mkhwanazi are not sustainable, she's right. That's what you've said. She's right. You said that to her.
Chair, on two aspects. The first one is, at the time we considered the document, Mkhwanazi's evidence, of course, was not there. We considered the document purely looking at the IPOD report, and we crafted our response in that regard. So yes.
But you also had his statement, warning statement, because if you didn't have the warning statement, then it raises another question. When you say to IPIT you didn't consider Mkhwanazi's statement, what would you have been referring to, right? So you must have had sight. Otherwise, you're commenting on incomplete information.
We did have sight, and hence that is the document we refer to here. When Commissioner Khumalo mentioned the other document from, I think, this is why we had the insight. We asked him, did you consider the impact of that? Because in the documents what was contained there, it's referred to functions continuing to deal with the issue of functions given to him by Mzolo, which included the drafting of the MOUs, and for looking at then the donations issued. So that in that statement of his linked to the IPOD report, it spoke about donations. So when you say it was not transferred, the vehicle was transferred into the name of City of Ekurhuleni.
They were never given to the city. They were never available to EMPD to use. And the MOU does not say they were going to be delivered to the city. That's the simple point I'm making, and that's a fact. If you read that MOU, and I'm hoping that when you expressed these views here, you had considered all the documents, and that would include the MOU. And if you did read that MOU does not say they will be given to the city, right? It says they will remain with CAT VIP, those vehicles.
Yes, Chair, the MOU said that, stated that. But in terms of and this is why we asked with regards to the IPOD report. If you look at paragraph 11 of his document, CAT VIP would donate 4 vehicles which would be registered under the City of Ekurhuleni to be utilized by EMPD officers. Okay. So when he came here and said no, it was used by them, at that stage when we crafted this document, there was no such thing before us.
I accept that. We can move.